Ruger Bearcat. Let's see if it'll shoot. One, two, three, four, five. Oh, there's a real one. Let's see if it'll. Yeah. It came out in 1958. I remember my cousin had one, and his son, which I don't know what, third cousin, fourth cousin, I forget. We grew up together, and we used to mess around as kids in the woods and play, and got old enough we'd shoot together and everything. And his dad had a Ruger Bearcat, and I remember being out on the farm we owned for a while, and shooting that thing. And I thought, wow, it's neat. It's awfully small, but I don't know. It was kind of strange to me, but I remember firing that thing. So it would have been one of the early versions of it, made, in the probably late 50s. Had to be the late 50s, because that was in like 61 or 62 probably. And I think the early ones had an alloy frame, so they were a little bit different, but these are steel. So let me load it while I'm yakking, but they made this thing from 58 to about 74, and they discontinued it. In 74, Ruger patented the transfer bar system in there, where it's a little bit safer. You can load 6, in a single action, and they couldn't adapt it to the Ruger Bearcat for some reason at that time. They did their other revolvers, and so they discontinued the Ruger Bearcat until when was it? In the 90s, I think 93, and then started making it again. So this thing went for about 20 years without being manufactured. But it's a popular little pistol. I just never owned one myself, and being a cowboy guy, a Western guy, you'd think I'd have had one somewhere along the way, because it is kind of a miniature version of the Old West. I've got these out here for a reason. I'll shoot these 6 and I'll explain it. Always looking for a reason to have some other cool guns out, right? No, there is actually a reason. But yeah, it's kind of a cowboy miniature Colt single action copy, that sort of thing. And most of us grew up watching Westerns, if you're in my age bracket for certain. And even now, there's a lot of Westerns, so everybody's familiar with the old single action revolvers. And this is, in keeping, with that theme, isn't it? And in a 22, so it's kind of neat. It's a good little plinker. Oh, that guy's got some juice left in him. Let's get him while he's down. Let's get that guy. Wow. Oh, there's a 2-liter. Whoa. Interesting how a 22 sometimes has as much reaction as a 40 or a 9mm or something. There's a couple of 12 ounces hiding there. I think I might be empty. No, I'm not. I should be now. Yeah. So, yeah, it's in keeping with that theme, and let's empty it. Same way. It's interesting. You got that transfer bar system, which I've shown you before. That, let me show you. It comes up, and for that firing pin to hit the round, or for the hammer to make contact with the firing pin, or to have any impact on it, have any effect on it when it impacts it, that transfer bar has to be up. See, it comes up, I'm pulling the trigger, and the way the hammer is cut, then when the hammer hits that transfer bar, it transfers the power to the firing pin. Then when I let off, it's down now, so it's not resting and putting pressure on the actual back of the shell. Okay, so that's the genius of that. And a lot of the newer, the Rugers, I guess all the Rugers have that, and even some of the others. It allows you to load 6 safely, and it allows you to be safer with 6 in it, or around under with 6 in there, and have one in the top chamber with the hammer against it, because it's not really against it. That's what I'm getting at. And you've seen the video, hopefully. Should I load 5 or should I load 6? Or should you load 5 or should you load 6? That's the name of the video. I always forget the name of it. You might want to look it up, search for it. And we demonstrate that pretty conclusively, why you just load 5 in a traditional single action like this one, okay? Because you don't have that kind of transfer bar or anything. So, and actually a lot of it goes back to some of the lawsuits against Ruger back in the 70s, where you know, some people had 6 loaded, and I think one was on the dashboard of a truck and fell off on the floor, and it went off, you know, hit on the hammer and shot the guy in the leg, and someone else dropped one on the ground and shot him. And so they were under the gun there, literally, well, figuratively, but they were under the gun with lawsuits and big payouts and everything. That's why you see, I think, read the instruction manual on all the Ruger barrels. And so I was all involved in the settlement. I don't know all the details, but that's why all that came about, and this transfer bar system and everything. Okay, but now you can still buy firearms that don't have it, of course, and you know, Colt doesn't use it, and Colt clones, of course, you know, if you're going to have a traditional action like this, it's just different, and you just load 5 and then you're safe. So it's just something to be aware of. Generally, your firing pin is on the hammer when it's one of the old actions, but not necessarily always. The reason I really brought these out was not to get into that. We never talk about that enough, I guess. But the Ruger Bearcat is meant to be kind of a copy, miniature, in the grip at least, of the Remington, the old Remingtons. And I don't have the Remington Model 75, which is a cartridge gun. This is the percussion. But you notice the grip is different. You know, you can see it even looks the same the way it's cut, and it's a little longer. The top part of it comes back and down longer than the Colt does. Now, I actually prefer the Colt. You'd think I would prefer this because of the length and the added length and everything, but the Colt actually feels better to me. But you can see it's kind of a copy of the Remington there. They're available in, I think, different barrel lengths. You can get them with adjustable sights, and get them in stainless, and so you can check their website. So they're available in different configurations. I think they've even done some special runs with Lipsey's one of the distributors. I guess Lipsey's a distributor, but some, you know how gun companies will do. They'll have someone make a special version of their firearm or add some things to it. So who knows what all's out there in the Bearcat ring or genre. And I personally, I don't want one with an adjustable sight. Now, some people, that's their major complaint, and that's what they would be looking for, one of these cool little single actions with an adjustable sight, so they might be able to hit better with it. I'm a little strange in that regard, and I don't deny it. If I want a Western style revolver, I want a Western style revolver. And putting big old adjustable sights on them, oh man. Colt makes I think they call it the New Frontier. They've made it for a good while, and they've got adjustable sights back here, and I think even a taller front sight. And when I see that thing, I know this is weird, but it makes me want to gag. I mean, it's just, this gun should not have a big old adjustable sight on it. I'm sorry. It's a little bit like putting a telescopic sight on a Hawken muzzle loader or something. It's not that bad, but it strikes me that way. And I know it'll make it shoot better. You can hit better with it. So what's wrong with you, Hickok? Yeah, if I'm worried about shooting tighter groups with a little pistol like this, a little plinker, I'll just get a double action or a modern style pistol, you know, or a Target 22. There's lots of them out there. I just want my Western style gun to stay Western. What would John Wayne think, you know? That's just what always comes to my mind. I do not want to offend John Wayne or the ghost of John Wayne. Let's shoot a tin can though. All right, let's shoot the other one. I'll tell you what, let's stir them up a little bit and shoot that empty spray can. Ah, yeah, went right on through. And that should be it. Now I had one more. Put him right in the heart of that cowboy. Okay. You're out. I like these old things. And one reason these are popular is they unload and they load just like the big boys do, the Colt 45. You know, same type action. You know, you just run the ejector rod through the chambers and push out the empty rounds. Yeah, they're slower than a double action where you pull the cylinder out the side and knock them all out, you know, at one time, and that sort of thing. And I like those. I enjoy those too. But again, if you want a Western style, single action, we always say Western style. In the year 1873 or 1851 when the Navy Colt came out or whatever, if you lived in Mississippi or you lived in North Carolina or you lived in Maine or wherever you lived back in the day, it was still this style of gun. I guess it was most popular. So it wasn't just a firearm that was available in the West. I mean, do always keep that in mind. This old Colt was probably pretty popular in Virginia in 18 whatever, pick a day, 75, right? It wasn't just something the cowboys carried out west, but we still think of that, don't we? Because the movies take place out west. So yeah, it's just in keeping with that. It's just a miniature version of it. It's pretty cool. Just a little plinker, little hiking gun, kit gun you could call it, and I think that's what it was really meant to be. It wasn't meant to be a target gun that you could go win target matches with necessarily. So a fun little gun.